Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC and this is Blue Lions TV, and today I'm bringing you guys another predicted preview video for our upcoming game against Crystal Palace tomorrow at 5 PM. But getting straight into the video, starting with any injury news. And yes, it looks like Barkley is going to be out for this game and David Luiz is still out. But when it regards Bakayoko, it seems like he is fit again now. Conte was actually speaking about his performance against Watford last time, saying that it was a bad one, and that obviously with having a bit of rest and time away to obviously regain his thoughts, and that he should be able to perform better, and that Conte was basically saying that with Bakayoko, he's a guy that I do trust, but he's more for the future. But anyway, getting straight into the predicted preview part of this video, starting with the goalkeeper, and it's pretty obvious that Courtois is going to be in goal, so I'm not even going to really focus too much on him. Now moving on to the back three, and I'm expecting to see some changes here because again, after Crystal Palace, we will be playing against Barcelona. So I'm expecting to see Azpilicueta on the right hand side, Christensen in the middle, and Gary Cahill on the left hand side. I think that Cahill will play against Palace tomorrow because Rudiger is going to be rested for the game against Barcelona because, you know, we do need him, his ball playing abilities and everything that Cahill doesn't really possess. And I felt that Rudiger had his best ever performance in a Chelsea shirt against Barcelona last time. So yeah, I mean, he's starting to look a bit more promising now. Now moving on to the wing back options, and I'm expecting further rotation. I'm expecting to see Emerson having his Premier League debut against Crystal Palace tomorrow. I think Alonso will be rested for the game against Barcelona. With Emerson, I'm very excited to see what he's going to provide. The attributes he possesses are very good, and they're the type of attributes that I look for when it comes to fullbacks and wingbacks. Of course, he can beat a man, he's got pace, he's got decent delivery, but he's tenacious. He likes to dominate down the left hand side, and I think playing against Palace, we should be seeing a different dimension on that left hand side compared to anything that Alonso brings. And I think on the right hand side, I'm expecting to see Zappacosta playing over Victor Moses. Moses will be rested for the game against Barcelona because it is a massive one, and with Zappacosta, he's more than an able understudy. Now moving straight into midfield, because I see us using a 3-4-3. In midfield, Conte will return. Conte stating that Kante's fine, and again, he was just clarifying again in his press conference that yes, Conte did faint inside the dressing room and it was due to the cold weather. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's good to know that N'Golo is fine. And alongside Conte, I'm expecting to see Bakayoko playing alongside him. I think that Conte obviously has a lot of faith in Bakayoko. I think with the attributes that Baka has, I think maybe more his physicality and his strength, they're the type of things that Conte looks for in a midfield too. So I'm expecting Bakayoko to play tomorrow alongside N'Golo Kante. Now moving on to the front three, and of course Hazard will be playing, and we're not going to be using a false nine system. Conte has clarified himself in this press conference that either Giroud or Morata will be starting. It was quite interesting that he didn't really state who was going to play, but again, I guess that does make a lot of sense. But to be honest, I'm expecting Morata to start in this game. At first, I was going to go with Olivier Giroud because obviously Morata will be used against Barcelona, but I'm thinking that Morata hasn't been playing as much. It's good that he gets some type of match fitness as well, and I can easily see Conte subbing out Morata for Giroud later on in the game. So I think that makes a lot more sense, to be honest. And again, Morata needs to get his confidence. If he can get a goal or two against Palace tomorrow, that's only going to make him feel more confident for the game against Barcelona because again, we're going to need him. And to finish on the right hand side, I see Willian playing in this game. I don't see him finishing the entire game. I think that Pesce will come on later on, but Willian will be playing. His form, he's been one of our best players since the start of the new year, and I think that of course, you know, Willian that has peak confidence is a completely different style of player. Now for my lineup, I've gone for a few different changes. Of course, in goal will be Courtois, but in the back three, I've actually gone for Azpi, Christensen and Rudiger. And my thinking is that number one, we know that Zaha is back for this game. He's completed some superhuman recovery and he is going to be playing against us, and Cahill did struggle last time he played against Palace, you know, with Zaha's threat and direct runs. So I definitely think that Rudiger would be the decent option to have in this game. And honestly, with defenders, it's not as if they finish games and they're completely exhausted. So again, I don't think any fitness concerns are going to be the issue for the game against Barcelona. Now midfield, I have gone for Conte and Drinkwater. I think that Drinkwater does provide some type of forward passes, and I think that they've looked pretty solid whenever they've had to play. Wing backs, I've gone for Emerson on the left, of course, and on the right, I've gone for Zappacosta, and up front, I've gone for Hazard, Morata, and Willian. But anyway, you guys, that's a predicted 11 part over, moving straight into the match preview. Now, starting with the preview, this game against Palace isn't as easy as it should be. Now, Crystal Palace have become a bit of a bogey team under Antonio Conte. Obviously, we played 3 times against them under Conte, and they've won twice against us, and we've only beaten them once. And of course, we lost to them earlier this season, and their record against us has been decent. I mean, if you look back to the past 5 games, they've won 3 games against us, and we've only beaten them twice. So this game's going to be much more difficult than it should be, and of course there's bigger connotations because we need to get this win and we need to get the 3 points. We have to capitalise over Crystal Palace and their poor form recently. They've won 1 game out of the past 7. Of course, they were very unlucky against Man United and against Spurs as well. But again, with Crystal Palace, their weakness really comes down to the fact that a lot of key players have been injured. You know, your Zaha's, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Benteke was out for a while as well, no Saka at the back, etc, etc. And it's quite weird. The reason why they're so low in the table is the fact that they don't convert many of their chances into goals. They've missed quite a lot of easy chances like penalties, open goals and point blank misses as well. So that really hasn't come to help them. It hasn't helped that Benteke hasn't been as confident in front of goal. And of course, not having Zaha for the past 2.5 months, and this guy I think his form would have put him in the team of the season, in my personal opinion. He was single-handedly just carrying Crystal Palace, and his performances have really gone up another level so far this season. So there is something to worry about tomorrow because, again, Zaha is back, but as Roy Hodgson said himself, it's quite remarkable how quickly he's recovered from injury, but they're not going to risk him because, of course, Crystal Palace have much more important games. Their best chance of obviously avoiding relegation and just making sure they're clear is obviously picking up points against the other teams around them. So this game against Chelsea, of course, is a bonus. They'll feel confident because they've had good form against us recently as well, but it's not exactly their biggest game, if you know what I'm saying. And of course, with Zaha, I'm expecting him to start from the bench because I don't think Roy wants to risk Zaha breaking down again because that could really jeopardise their chances of being safe and staying in the Premier League for this season. So really, the main threats are going to come from Benteke and Sorloth, and they're going to give our back three a bit of a test. So this is why I see Conte picking Cahill for this game because, of course, maybe he's better suited at dealing with aerial balls compared to some other players. You know, I can easily imagine Benteke moving out wide to stay in front of Azpilicueta, and I can imagine Sorloth moving maybe to Christensen. So there's going to be a bit of a test for Christensen as well, even though he's a bit underrated in the air. But when it comes to physically strong players, because he's still such a young guy, he can struggle at times instead of, in terms of being brushed off the ball. And they like to rely on a lot of route one service to their strikers as well. So it's going to be a bit of a test as well. So what they're hoping to do is obviously the route one service to their strikers, and then the guys will support them around them. Obviously, Townsend will push up, Sharp will get forward as well, and then their fullbacks will push forward in terms of Van Aanholt and stuff as well. So that's really going to be their main threat. And with Palace, really, we have to just be careful about, dealing with their aerial presence when they try to start attacks. And obviously, we have to just be careful about their defensive position because even though they haven't been amazing, they're still a difficult team to break down at times, especially under Roy Hodgson. So it's really going to be imperative that we get our wing-backs into this game. This is going to be one of those games where the first goal is going to be key to sealing the win, because when you get the first goal against teams like your Palaces, that really jeopardises what they can do throughout the game. It's not as if Roy's going to be a bit more offensive and throw, let's say, 3 forwards on. He's not going to risk that because, again, what's the point? The game's over. So it's imperative that we do get the first goal against them. So I'm hoping that we're going to see players in their key position. It's going to be vital that we use Morata in this game. I'm expecting him to have some type of joy against Palace. And of course, Eden, Willian, those lines between midfield and defence where Willian and Hazard operating are going to be key, because we need to make sure we can get them there as often as possible, because that's going to free up the flanks for the wing backs to get forward. So it's going to be interesting. Preferably, if I could pick, this would be a game where I probably wouldn't use a back three because I don't necessarily feel that we need one. But I do think that getting the goals and of course our attack is going to be important, and I want a good win. I want a confident performance because the game against Barca is going to be very important, And that's going to be a game where if you do go into that, let's say where you won a game and you're feeling confident, if Morata can get a goal or two in this game tomorrow, that's going to boost our chances of getting something favourable against Barcelona on Wednesday. Still, with Palace most likely using a 4-4-2, as I've been saying, they are going to be playing that quick direct ball to their strikers, and then they're going to be flooding men forces to help support them as well. They will be looking to press at times, especially when obviously Benteke and Sorloth will probably position themselves against the wide centre-backs as well. Obviously that's going to help bring support for, let's say, Jeffrey Shupp on the left or Andros Townsend on the right to obviously have a passing option and link-up play as well. And, you know, Palace will be hoping then to obviously have the positioning behind those guys to be pretty solid, and that's going to be their approach for the game. But again, we can really disrupt all their plans if we get that early goal. And obviously, if Conte fields a much more adventurous lineup, I think that's what we're going to need to obviously get this result against Crystal Palace. But anyway, you guys, that's going to end the match preview. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV, signing out.